What if you could run your entire online business from strategy to brainstorming to content creation to delivery of your services and products without a team? We're in 2025 and that's not a fantasy anymore. It's the actual reality. I'm on a journey of building a one-person AI-powered online business, which means that I'm creating multiple income streams, everything from creating and selling digital products to providing services to building a membership to running a YouTube channel and a couple of more. And in this video, I'm walking you through my 7 essential AI tools that I use on a daily, weekly basis that I swear by to run my business faster, smarter, and in a way that allows more freedom in my life. I'll also share a couple of bonus tools that I wouldn't classify them as AI, even though all the tools have AI nowadays, but those tools are also essential to my business, so I just want to mention them in the end. So the first tool I want to cover is NotebookLM. There are 3 main things I'm using NotebookLM for. Number 1 is when I need to do some comprehensive research. Either it's market research or trend research or a certain topic. I go to NotebookLM because I believe it hallucinates much less than all the other LLMs. I trust the sources more because I'm in control of the sources, partly because I can upload my own documents that I find that I trust. And I can also ask it to find additional sources, but ultimately I control the sources that it uses to provide me with the answers. I use NotebookLM secondly for my own learning purposes. If I need to understand a certain topic in depth, I use mind maps feature there, which gives me a really good visual overview of a complex topic. The third very exciting way that I'm actually just starting using it because they just released this feature a couple of days ago and I already have this tutorial and I will attach it here if it's already out. But they just released these 2 new features that I'm planning to use more extensively. One is called video overview and the second one is audio overview. Basically, if you upload your sources or the research topic and the resources that you're using, then you can ask it to create a video overview. It creates this deep storytelling narrative about the document that you have uploaded. It could be a transcript, it could be a blog post, it could be a YouTube video script. This is how I'm going to be using it, like by attaching my YouTube videos and then creating some interactive digital products with it, basically. The second tool I use almost every day is Claude. I use Claude to create content. So when I write my newsletter, basically this is my workflow. I come to Claude, I've uploaded my previous newsletters that I've written myself, I've created my tone of voice that I uploaded into custom instructions into Claude project, and then I come there every week. I talk about everything I've learned this week, everything I've been thinking about, everything I've seen happening in the AI space and online business space. And I ask Claude to create some structure to my thoughts. And that basically becomes the core first draft of my newsletter. And from there, I iterate it, of course, and I rewrite it. Sometimes I do it for YouTube as well, but for everything that needs more human language in a sense, or like outputs in a human language, I use Claude. Something that I've been playing around recently is I use Claude Artifacts. So Artifacts, it's kind of like a possibility to create simpler apps. So it's not really like this no-code, full-blown tools like Lovable, but it lets you create quite simple apps. And what I've been experimenting is actually creating digital products with it. Let me know if you want a full tutorial on Artifacts. I think this is a really underestimated feature. So tool number 3 that I use very often is Perplexity. Even though very recently I got kind of disappointed with the release of Perplexity Labs, which is their AI agent, I forgive them because they're amazing in many other different ways. First of all, it has replaced Google for me. I don't Google anymore. More or less, if I go to Google, it's more or less like a muscle memory that I really try to fight, so I go to Perplexity instead. If I have a question, instead of returning me tons of different web pages that I need to go through, and I prefer Perplexity for the depth of the answers that I get. It provides you with the sources where it got the answers. It also analyzes YouTube and social media, and this is the second main thing I use Perplexity for, is analyzing trends. So I found that across all the other LLMs, Perplexity has this ability to tap into like TikTok trends, Instagram trends, Pinterest trends, and identify them and give a good comprehensive overview. So one example is I do have a small print-on-demand income stream, and I was researching trends for a specific topic, and I have a hard time being on TikTok. It gives me anxiety almost, but I do understand that it's a very important place when it comes to a lot of trends originating, right? So I would just go to Perplexity and ask it to analyze a specific niche and give me all the trends for this month, or like you can choose which timeline. So for example, I could say for summer 2025, what are the main TikTok trends within this niche? And it will really accurately return you a full list of those trends with hashtags. You can then follow up and ask like who are the main creators or influencers driving this and so on, so you can do some more research. But as a first step, I found it's incredible. I think that's a really powerful way to use Perplexity. So if your business relies on understanding the trends, or you want to be ahead of the game or your competition, then just use this for that. The next tool that I would not be able to really have this YouTube channel is Descript. As soon as I found out about it, I was so relieved, because the idea of editing my YouTube videos was a huge fear, because it's going to take so much time. And once I started using Descript, like it took me 1 or 2 days to actually understand how the logics works, because Descript edits your videos with AI, but it's text based. So basically, if you're an educational creator of any sort, you would benefit hugely from it, because when you upload your video, you can just add it in text. Instead of piecing video parts together, you just delete the text and it deletes this part of the video. I'm really grateful that it exists. I use it for video editing. They just rolled out this huge update with their AI called Underlord, where you can just tell it how you want to edit your videos. Like, for example, add transition here, remove the words there. Right now, I rely heavily on their AI tools, such as remove the filler words, remove the gaps, remove the pauses, retakes, like all of that I can do in a click of a button with their AI features. I'm really happy with it. They also have personal support, which I so appreciate. So if something goes wrong, I always get really good help. And then another way I'm using it is repurposing the content. So for example, if I take my YouTube video, they have the function that you just break it down into shorts that I can then repurpose for social media. And honestly, it's just my own laziness. I just haven't gotten around to it. I've done it a couple of times. It works good. So I'm still playing around with that, but this is not my focus. Like, the job that Descript does for me is video editing in a very efficient way, and I'm super happy with that. Okay, next tool is Canva. I was thinking, is Canva an AI tool now, or is it not? Of course it's an AI tool, right? I love Canva. I've used Canva for many years, and I've been really impressed by the AI features, by all the apps that they have. I run pretty much my entire digital wall art business there. Canva is kind of a home for me finishing all the images that I put on sale. The things that I want to highlight that I'm using Canva for now is YouTube thumbnails, creating digital products and kind of packaging them in a nice way. Canva is very aesthetic, so you can really create nice packaging. And the third one, I've been playing with the VO3 that is now part of Canva. I have a tutorial on that. But this is video generating AI that they partnered up with, and it's available through Canva. So that is something that I've been using it for. Other than that, it's visuals for social media, for any type of presentations and things like that. Canva is literally on my open tab at all times. Next one is Lovable. I just did a short tutorial the other day of how I built a web app with Lovable. There's so many tools out there that you can vibe code now. There is Bolt, there is VO0. Well, that one I haven't actually tried. There is Replit, there is so many more. There's something about Lovable. I just have such a relaxed experience of using it. I use it to experiment with creating apps. I create landing pages, I create web apps, and I also prototype ideas. So I have a lot of ideas, and sometimes I have this like, oh, I wish there was an app for that. And I'm like, wait, I can use Lovable, right? And I can prototype and I can try it out. Do I think I can vibe code a mobile app and roll it out to thousands of people by myself at this point? Like, I'm not sure, because maybe I don't have enough experience, because there's probably some integrations that I would need to take care of. But I have created web applications, at least from an idea to full creation, to creating login details and authentication for the users and actually deploying it, connecting Stripe payments. So it's really getting better every single day. So if you've been wanting to try vibe coding, I still believe Lovable is the easiest entry point for that. Really recommend you trying them out. So if you have an idea for an app, or also, if you are a coach or a service provider and you have so much knowledge accumulated and you want to give your customers, your clients, an experience in addition to the services they get from you, Lovable can really help you create that. So something that would support them while you're not there. So I think there's incredible opportunities there. So that is the tool that I'm probably one of the ones that I started using the latest out of the ones that I've mentioned, but I use very actively right now. So last but not least, and the OG of all of them all, is ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT daily in many different ways that I would need to have like the entire video of 100 different ways I'm using it for, but I just want to highlight a couple of things. So one of the most useful features that I find in ChatGPT is deep research. If I have a question or I want to research something and I just want to gather as much information as possible, I would use deep research. Pretty much my workflow is when I have a new idea or a question or like a new kind of thing, I just go to ChatGPT and start a conversation, or I go into projects in ChatGPT if it already belongs to a certain project or a certain income stream that I have. And then I just go from there. And then I can say, I think Perplexity can do better. And then I go to Perplexity. But my starting point is always ChatGPT. I do have memory enabled, and that means it remembers everything about my business and my goals and helps me basically navigate from that perspective. And I don't say this lightly. I want to emphasize this because I do think a lot about what that means long term. I think especially now we all have responsibility. Like we're seeing first cases of mental health distortions because of ChatGPT interactions. I really want to make sure that I'm not over reliant on that. That's not an easy balance. So I'm thinking about it more and more. I promise 2 tools that I use that are kind of like the glue with my business. So number 1 is Beehiiv. Beehiiv I used as a newsletter platform. So I send a newsletter every Friday about AI, what's happening in AI, like my best favorite prompts, behind the scenes of my journey, what I'm building and things like that. So I use Beehiiv for all of that and I'm really happy. And the second tool, which is StanStore, it's like my kind of storefront in a sense that I connect all my lead magnets. So if you downloaded anything from these videos, like some prompts and so on, you got it from StanStore. I'm really happy with it because I've tried so many tools and you could like really drown in the variety of tools that provide this service. But I love StanStore, and I have to say, like, more and more I use the tools and I actually stick with the tools where I really resonate with founders. And both with like Beehiiv and StanStore and Descript, when I see the founders talking about their product and I get a really good vibe out of it, I'm just, I'm in. Like I'm team StanStore, team Beehiiv, because this is like this new generation of tools. A lot of people in online business, they're like, well, Kajabi, and Kajabi is probably great, but it's just like too over complex for its own sake. And I think tools like StanStore, like Descript, like Canva, like Beehiiv, they're all, like young founders that just like saw the problem, disrupted huge industries, and provided very simple, very hands-on, easy to navigate and understand tools that don't require all this other fluff. So this was my tool stack. I have more tools that I'm playing around and trying out, and probably I forgot some. If you want to try any of the tools, you can find all the links in the description below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching as always. I really appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video.